Your browser has a unique fingerprint. We're going to be doing a video on that. But the more unique your browser is, the more trackable you are. The less trackable you are, the less, the better. But the more you lock down your computer to where tracking you doesn't matter because nobody can break into it, the more unique you look. Browsers, based on your device, will share your information as follows. A user agent, which can just say a bunch of things about you. The operating system, the browser type, version, screen resolution, color depth, language settings, time zone, plugins, audio and video card hardware IDs, the hardware MAC address, the IP address that your internet service provider gave you. Whatever else is stored in the computer could be divulged. Last saved password sometimes is shared because you automatically set that. Don't even ask me why anybody would do it. Site data, your cookies, your history, and whether or not the browser updates, or operating system are phoning home can be communicated through telemetry. And on it goes. Please clear all of this on every exit that your web browser does. Auto-update anything. Block all tracking, ads, the browser add-ons and plugin companies, IP addresses, everything has to be blocked. Now, what does this all mean? Simple and to the point. When you auto-update your computer or have your computer do anything in the background by communicating with some company somewhere, they share that data. The plugin will update itself. An add-on will do that. The browser itself, your operating system, some script under an add-on. Like I have an add-on like, let's say, Tamper Monkey. And it's a script that says auto-update. I have to go through and turn that thing's auto-update off, turn off Tamper Monkey's auto-update, Firefox's update, then the operating system's update so it doesn't phone home. Or, oh, wait a minute, then my computer's vulnerable because I didn't update anything? Yeah, so let's continue. Treat all web content, programs, and paths as untrusted, but only use ones that state that they're trusted, that are done through some sort of trust authority. Okay. Fingerprints. Okay. Fingerprints are just how can you be identified if you don't overtly say what you are on the internet. In order for them to be useful, they have to be stable over time and unique. The more unique something is, the more bad it is for you, I suppose, right? Okay. But if they change all the time, all you're doing is saying you're one of a bunch of impossible unique individuals on the internet that are never seen again. So that could be a thing. The most common web browser may hide you in a crowd because you're not unique anymore. A fake default settings Windows 10 random Google Chrome install would be the most common right now. And you'd blend in heavily, especially if you made it look like some default format with giving out the same stupid wrong information, except having a unique IP address. Because, again, the internet doesn't work if the information doesn't go from and to. The to, being you, has to be identifiable in some layer. You can confuse the tracking, and if you do this, then anti-fraud and anti-bot checks on the website will say you're a robot, because the bots are going to use the same method. You can have canvas elements and WebGL elements. These are based on the hardware that your computer's using to put up a video, screen, image, and that information has been, over time, allowed to be shared through the web browser. That way the website can customize the files it's sending to you to show video or whatever for your video card, so the video card does all the work. That's an extreme advantage. Do you want to give that up? Do you want to have it do a more generalized things? These are used to draw images in a web page, used to create a unique fingerprint for you easier as well, for each device and maybe user. This is depending on the device's rendering through the graphics drivers, graphics card, GPU, etc., as being unique. But again, if you have the most common video card, is it still unique? And you can look up add-ons that hide all this or just lie about it, but get the right information, but it's like it's a little bit wrong in size, the color depth isn't full, whatever you're willing to put up with. On most websites, this is not a problem. You can go ahead and just say, yeah, I want 12-bit visual depth. That's 4 bits per red, green, and blue. Have it use a standard screen size and just, it won't be full screen. Most of you are already doing something very similar to it anyway. You could also do something called address space layout randomization. This is simply a protection against getting infected with something. Programs are not put in exactly the same location in RAM by default. This forces it to always put it in a different location. That's so that if a virus loads itself in and it's really badly written, it has to find the program by waiting for this space to be filled up with something. And it'll assume it's the same thing. But if it's randomized slightly or slightly offset, it'll crash your computer and you'll know something's wrong rather than hiding correctly. An interesting idea. But that's only available for 64-bit newer operating systems. Browser and or site isolation. A way of creating a logical barrier between the browser, the operating system, and the hardware. These are called hardware abstraction layers. That's between the computer and the operating system, so that a program can't directly access your hardware and do things like give an order to the drive over here. A hard drive can be given an instruction to erase itself. It's a single, very short instruction. So there's an abstraction layer between, let's say, Windows and that. And macOS has a similar thing going on. But abstraction between the operating system also includes between the operating system and drivers for the video card, sound card. And another layer would be for software, such as middleware for like all the codecs you use for video. That has to have an isolation layer. It's a lot like a driver. And then finally, between the operating system and your browser. And then between the browser and the plugins. These layers of isolation prevent things from being able to leak and attack you, but also allows for the computer to lie, which is what we're talking about here. Now, one of the ways of doing this is called operating system level or below operating system level virtualization, sandboxing, VirtualBox, sandboxing, QEMU, VMware, Parallels Desktop, any of these things, where you can set it up to where it's either starting almost like an operating system and then lets you run an operating system and totally fakes the hardware, and it has all the drivers stored in your computer, and it is what's communicating through, and everything else goes through many layers to get to any way of being identifiable. Now, I used a couple of websites, coveryourtracks.eff.org and miunique.org, and what they said is the same thing about a high-security downloadable browser, and my Firefox I'd locked down as much as I could, and then it crashed because of another unrelated subject. Here we go. You have strong protection against web tracking, ads that are used to track you, invisible trackers, etc. But you're still unique. Less than 1/100% of people use your operating system. Time zone, 2%. Fonts, 1/100%. That doesn't make sense, but okay. 4% use the same screen size. Privacy settings and permissions are 0.02%. You mean me locking it down makes me unique? Yes. If you make it to where it's really hard to break into your computer, that's not normal. That's unusual. So again, setting up a default, set your computer up to lie and say it's Windows 10 and it's running a Google Chrome browser with none of the security settings turned on, but have it always give fake information, that'll work. Any browser can be told to emulate this stuff in the user agent string. But then again, that might show up being unusual and unique. So, what was the one thing that shocked me about this? My web browser telling websites I was using a specific video card. Leaking any hardware information. Well, again, it has to do that to make it to where I can say, oh, you're using a video card with these 5 features? Here's the web page. It's compacted down better. You want a really slow working internet connection and have no security so you blend in? Or do you mind being a little unique and just locking your computer down? It's a conundrum. Out of how many? Wow. 35 million fingerprint database, and after 45 days of testing 250,000 users, I appeared unique, and I have a unique fingerprint that conveys about 18 bits of data. And if you're not aware of it, 20 bits of data is 1 in a million. Okay, so this is about about 250,000. Now, I ran another one called LibriWolf. This is the same or less trackable. Again, I went to a lot of effort to make Firefox do a lot of this. The main thing LibriWolf does is it turns off all of the telemetry. This is the basic stuff like calling home to Mozilla, and also whether or not it allows the rest of the programs or add-ons that I put into Firefox to communicate back to their websites. And probably turns off auto-update. And, yeah. But it was about the same as the one I'd already built up. Okay, well, it could act as a starting point. I did a video review-ish kind of thing of LibriWolf. I can't use it. It's got too many defects they threw on, seemingly to fuck it up. But it didn't do most of the modifications and optimizations I do. Is there a turnkey solution? Okay, that was 18 bits of uniqueness out of, billions and billions of us. You're 1 in 250,000 or something, right? Okay. Then there's the Onion Router browser, or Tor browser. 16 bits of identifying information. I'm 1 in 64,000 that way. Which means I'm blending in a lot more. Same browser as your nearly unique one-time use fingerprint of lies. Port 80 was open, but that's the exit node because it went through it. And the hardware IDs it got was from the last computer it picked up because that computer volunteered its video card data, which is one of the most commonly occurring video cards. Everything about it, by running the Onion Router, by running Tor browser, resulted in me blending in more. And it was much more locked down because it's designed with all the lockdown capabilities set, and then it lies to every website about it. It uses a generic set of information about the video card and whatever, trying to hide me. It was designed for this. There are others that will do about the same thing. Now, I use Tor browser 14 Firefox ESR 128 for Windows 10. That's what I used, or at least had it identify itself as. It's downloadable, it works. But if you're going to use an older operating system like Windows 7 and above, I'm using Tor browser 13.5, and I have the links below. If you're running XP, there's a Tor browser 7.5 that'll work. And for Windows 98 and up, there's Tor browser 5.5. Now, there's a PDF file linked below, how to secure your web browser in general, if it's not Firefox. And another couple of pages on how to lock down your web browser by turning off all telemetry, if you want to. So, your browser has a unique fingerprint. But in my case, most of that was caused by me not telling the thing to shut off video card data, which would just make the web run badly. And also, the uniqueness was caused by me locking it down to where it couldn't do anything else. Yes, you have a very unique browser I can't dig into, I can't break into your computer, but your browser is got a good fingerprint to it. Okay, I don't care. And if I really do want to be harder to fingerprint, I'll use Tor browser, because I can. Turnkey solution. So anyway, that's all the data I have. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And just use the links below if you want to lock your computer down better. Bye.